Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered why a lab technician, a pharmacist, and an ANM all across India today follow the same standardized training pattern, no matter which state they are trained in? This uniformity did not happen by accident. It was the result of a committee that fixed a broken pipeline between India's health system and its education system. Today, we are going to explore the Bajaj Committee Report of 1986, the architectural blueprint for India's health manpower. This committee was formerly known as the Expert Committee for Health Manpower Planning, Production and Management. To understand why it was needed, picture two towers standing side by side but disconnected from each other. Tower 1 was the health system, which suffered from a heavy bias toward medical doctors, along with a shortage and uneven distribution of allied health personnel, making it structurally unstable. Tower 2 was the education system, standing as an isolated pillar, with the national education policy completely isolated from the national health policy. Between these two towers was a severe mismatch between health education outputs and community socio-epidemiological needs. This health and education disconnect is what the committee was formed to repair. The committee was chaired by Professor J.S. Bajaj and it was constituted on May 8, 1986 under the mandate of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Its mandate revolved around three core areas: planning, which meant projecting national requirements continuously; production, which meant creating educational infrastructure and +2 vocational courses; and management, which meant safeguarding career prospects and deployment interlinkages for health workers. The architectural brief of the committee rested on four pillars, all supporting the larger goal of comprehensive primary healthcare. Pillar 1 was to assess and project current and future manpower needs. Pillar 2 was to design 10+2 vocational courses and pre-vocational content. Pillar 3 was to recommend essential educational infrastructure. And Pillar 4 was to design bridge courses for horizontal and vertical career mobility. Together, these pillars were meant to align worker production with actual demographic realities and to balance professional education with primary healthcare delivery in line with the global goal of health for all by the year 2000. Now let us look at the master plan the committee proposed, starting with macro structural reforms. The committee recommended the creation of the Educational Commission for Health Sciences, known as ECHS. This commission was modeled directly after the University Grants Commission to oversee both medical and paramedical standards. It was designed to integrate the health system and education system under a unified national prescriptive framework, connecting the national medical and health education policy with the national health manpower policy. The second part of the master plan focused on state-level infrastructure. The committee proposed the creation of state health science universities, which would affiliate all medical and related colleges within a state, ensuring cross-faculty interaction. Alongside these universities, health manpower cells were proposed at the state level, tasked with gathering local deployment data to monitor execution on the ground. A major contribution of this committee was designing the pipeline for vocationalization at the 10+2 level. For students entering after their 10th standard, the committee proposed that only 25 to 30% of their time be spent on general education, covering science, mathematics, humanities, and languages. The remaining 70 to 75% was to be dedicated to vocational and practical on-the-job training. This pipeline was designed to produce standardized allied health professionals, including ANMs, radiographers, lab technicians, pharmacists, and ophthalmic assistants. The committee also worked on breaking the bottleneck in career progression and management. Under the old path, health workers faced what was called swan neck career stagnation, where their growth would rise for a while and then hit a wall with no further progression. The new blueprint proposed an escalator-style pathway with 4 steps. Step 1. Uniform national salary structures. Step 2. Bridge courses for lateral and vertical mobility. Step 3. study leave provisions after 3 to 5 years of service, and step 4, specific rural service incentives including allowances and fringe benefits. Another significant contribution was system integration through harnessing indigenous systems of medicine, referred to as ISM. Based on 1983 baseline data, the committee acknowledged the vast existing capacity in traditional medicine, including Ayurveda with 13,976 beds, Unani with 1,405 beds, Siddha with 885 beds, and homeopathy with 3,778 beds alongside modern medicine. The goal was to effectively draw upon India's vast, institutionally qualified traditional manpower and weave it into the national healthcare system, supporting comprehensive primary healthcare that was preventive and promotive in nature. Despite its strengths, the blueprint had certain structural flaws and blind spots. The committee showed a hyper focus on macro level bureaucracy, national councils, and educational superstructures. In doing so, it missed immediate decentralized local action, it missed grassroots epidemic management protocols, and it missed direct disease surveillance at the village level. The key takeaway here is that later high power committees were required to address field level execution and working conditions that this committee had overlooked. Even with these gaps, the Bajaj Committee left behind a standing monument of legacy and historical significance. It catalyzed the creation of dedicated institutions, such as the Andhra Pradesh University of Health Sciences, established in November 1986. It provided structured projections, giving a baseline methodology for future medical education planning and workforce projections, and it achieved vocational standardization, cementing the role and formalizing the training of allied and paramedical staff. To summarize the master key of this committee, remember the word SECURE. Survey meaning realistic, continuous manpower surveys. Cells meaning health manpower cells established at central and state levels. ECHS, the Educational Commission for Health Sciences. Reform policies covering the National Medical and Health Education Policy and the National Health Manpower Policy. Education vocationalization, the 10 plus 2 level pipeline for allied staff. And finally, universities, meaning health sciences universities established in every state. In essence, the Bajaj Committee of 1986 transformed Indian healthcare from a fragmented, doctor heavy system into a structurally planned network, permanently interlinking the nation's educational infrastructure with its primary healthcare needs. Hope you have understood about the Bajaj Committee Report. If you found this video useful, please like and share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.